Lila had 3 simple rules for surviving on Station Kepler 442. Keep your head down, don't ask questions, and never, ever volunteer for anything. For 6 months, those rules had kept her alive and unnoticed on the massive orbital platform that housed over 10,000 beings from 47 different species. She was a human, which meant she was already an oddity. Humans were rare this far out in the Andromeda sector, and those who did make the journey were usually either mercenaries, engineers, or fools. Lila liked to think she was none of those things. She was simply a data analyst, trying to make enough credits to book passage back to Earth. The trouble started on a Tuesday, or what passed for Tuesday, on a station that operated on Galactic Standard Time. Lila was walking through the lower commercial sector, taking her usual shortcut through the food service area when a 6-armed Hexarian grabbed her by the shoulder. "Finally! You're late!" the creature chittered, its translator rendering the words in clipped, irritated tones. "The breakfast shift started 20 minutes ago. Get in there." "I think you've got the wrong," Lila began, but the Hexarian was already shoving a stained apron into her hands and pushing her through a set of swinging doors. She stumbled into absolute chaos. The cafeteria kitchen was a hurricane of steam, shouting, and the smell of things that shouldn't be cooked together. A grell was burning something that looked like purple algae. A thoraxian, all 4 meters of chitinous bulk, was arguing with a smaller reptilian species about proper knife technique. And in the center of it all stood Emmett, the only other human Lila had seen on the station. He looked up from a pot of something bubbling ominously, his dark hair plastered to his forehead with sweat, and grinned. "Oh, good, the new hire. We're drowning here." "I'm not," Lila started. "Can you work a food synthesizer?" Emmett didn't wait for an answer. "Doesn't matter. Half these stations are broken anyway. Just smile, serve whatever doesn't look actively hostile, and for God's sake, don't tell the Vryn that their breakfast protein might be someone else's sacred ancestor. Follow me." Before Lila could protest, Emmett had thrust a serving ladle into her hand and positioned her behind a counter facing a growing line of very hungry, very impatient alien customers. Rule 1. Keep your head down. Well, it was too late for that. The first customer was a Moldoran, its gelatinous body quivering with what Lila hoped was anticipation rather than anger. "Nutrient paste, thermal variant 7, it demanded. Lila looked at the dozen identical vats in front of her. She had no idea which was which. "Third from the left," Emmett whispered, somehow appearing beside her while simultaneously manning 3 other stations. "And add the blue powder, not the green. Trust me on that." She did as instructed. The Molteran absorbed its meal and moved on without complaint. Success. "How did you even end up here?" Lila hissed between customers. Emmett shrugged, his hands moving with practiced efficiency as he assembled what looked like a sandwich made of compressed minerals. "Needed the credits. Figured, how hard could cafeteria work be?" He laughed. "Turns out, pretty damn hard when you're feeding 47 species with 47 different biochemistries, dietary restrictions, and religious taboos." "I'm a data analyst," Lila said, serving something that wriggled slightly to a patient Krell. "And I'm a xenobiology student who flunked out in his 3rd semester," Emmett replied. "We all have our secrets. Now duck, grease fire at Station 6. They fell into a rhythm. Where Lila faltered, Emmett guided. When Emmett was overwhelmed, Lila picked up the slack. She discovered that humans had an unexpected advantage in the chaos of the kitchen: adaptability. While the other species stuck rigidly to their assigned tasks, Lila and Emmett could shift between stations, learn on the fly, and improvise solutions to problems that would have stumped workers locked into more specialized thinking. When a Vryn ambassador arrived demanding a meal that required ingredients from 3 different incompatible temperature zones, it was Emmett who rigged a makeshift thermal barrier using kitchen equipment and pure ingenuity. When a food synthesizer broke down mid-shift, Lila analyzed its error codes, cross-referenced them with the station's maintenance database she still had access to, and had it running again in minutes. The Hexarian supervisor watched them with increasing interest. By the end of the shift, the kitchen was cleaned, the customers were fed, and Lila's feet hurt in ways she hadn't known were possible. "Not bad, human," the Hexarian said. 3 of its arms crossed while the other 3 gestured approvingly. "You're both hired. Full-time. Double the standard rate." "Actually, I already have a—" Lila began. "Triple rate," the Hexarian interrupted. "And I'll throw in priority quarters and meal allowances." Lila paused. Triple rate. That was more than her data analyst position paid. She could book passage to Earth in 3 months instead of 18. "I'll take it," Emmett said immediately. He looked at Lila, that easy grin still in place. "Come on, where else are you going to get this kind of excitement?" Lila thought about her 3 rules. She'd already broken all of them today. And somehow she was still alive. More than alive. She'd actually enjoyed the controlled chaos, the problem-solving, the teamwork. "Fine," she said. "But I'm not cleaning the Grell's station. Whatever they cook smells like death." Emmett laughed and offered his hand. "Deal. Welcome to the team, partner." As they left the kitchen, Lila realized something. Maybe staying out of trouble wasn't the point. Maybe the point was finding the right kind of trouble, the kind that challenged you, that made you better, that reminded you why humans had made it this far into the galaxy in the first place. They were adaptable, resourceful, stubborn enough to turn a case of mistaken identity into a new career. Very human indeed. And if that was what HFY meant, well, Lila could live with that.